Hey family, so we are going live with Erika. This will be our first live, so I'm excited. Hey, let me see. I think I did accept you. Finally, can you see me?
Okay, on my.
Yes, I think you come in and out with your
Can you hear
voice.
me?
Talk again.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
I know. I've
Hey, how
talked
are
about doing this for a
you?
while now.
I know. Everything with divine timing, right? Divine timing. Yeah. How are
How
you
about
today?
yourself?
I'm feeling lovely. Today is one of those days that I feel like, sitting in the house, but I feel
Nice,
blessed. I feel
quiet.
blessed. Quiet
Yeah.
is good. Alone time is good. So, yeah. Your voice is
So
still coming in and out.
I'm
Is it like
wondering if
maybe
it's because
it
I'm
with
not
your
on the. I don't have the Wi.
yeah, I heard you
Can
said
you
you
hear
don't
me?
have then the Wi-Fi
Is
part
this any
cut
better?
off. So
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I took it off.
And you took
Maybe
off the
that'll
Wi-Fi?
help.
Yeah. Better now. And you better now. Happy Monday to you too.
Monday
Yeah, it's Monday, huh?
and probably the other days in other parts of the world.
To me,
Oh,
it's
okay.
Sunday still, but
Why?
yeah. So,
Why do you say that?
say it again. No, I feel like sometimes I
Yeah,
don't
I
even
lose
keep up with
track
the
all the
days.
time. No,
Yeah,
I don't.
like what day is it? Who cares? Really. When I was working, yeah, like every Friday, I used to look forward to like, oh my God, it's Friday. But now when I'm more like flexible and doing my own things, it's just, yeah, I don't know what day it
No,
is, and it doesn't really
because it's
matter.
always it's
But
right now is all that matters.
yeah, you talk a lot about that. Tell me,
Yeah, very
personal.
much so because I believe in the fact that there's there is no past and there is no future. Like we create the past through holding on to these experiences that we have, and then we call them a memory, and it causes this reality or creates a reality that's not really there because it's only right now.
Why is it so hard to grasp that?
Because there's such deep programming, and it's constantly reinforced every single day if you stay in contact with mainstream.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's true.
that we
Yeah.
go to sleep,
So you,
or many of us go to sleep every night and then wake up and it's like, oh well, there was a yesterday and there's going to be a tomorrow because I'm going to go to sleep tonight. But when you stop sleeping, there's no yesterday, there's no tomorrow.
yeah, interesting.
It's all right
Interesting.
now.
So do you think, yeah. So do you think the majority lives in the past and the future
Oh, yes,
instead of the
absolutely. You
now?
see it every day. Everyone, like the worry that you see, it's like, it's always about the future. And then I feel like the anxiety or the fear comes from the past because we already had the experience and we're like, oh no, it's going to happen again.
Yeah, wow. Well, I can imagine that. I can imagine that, like
Mhm.
everybody working towards like tomorrow, the future. I will next month. I'm going there. So I have to save up this. I have to do this. But
Yeah,
what happened to the present moment? What happened to the present moment?
it's not, I feel like
Wow,
it doesn't have as much importance as it needs to.
wow. Yeah, just like now when I think about it a lot, but just you mentioning it right now, I'm just thinking like, imagine everybody living the past and the
Right
future. and nobody is thinking about today. And the past and the future is created by now. So if you're absent from now, that means
Well, you're
like you
not
just create some
anything if
destruction.
you're absent from now. Your past is creating your future. It's just a loop that keeps on going.
Yeah, I see that. So you're not even
Yeah.
creating anything. Reality is just happening to you.
I mean, like
Wow. Yeah.
you are creating when
Interesting.
you're present though. Like when you're in the present moment, that is when you are creating.
Yeah, I can see that because I like to think that I
I
do
know I
create my
do.
moments.
Like I have evidence at this point. Like because I can be thinking something and it just happens. I don't even have to ask for it. I don't have to say anything. It's just I can have the thought and it appears into my reality. Or I like to call this the unreality.
That's reality. We believe in reality, so that's why we always refer to reality. Reality is like something that okay,
Right.
I see it and I
But
believe it now. You know.
when you're on this path, that all falls away and you can it's like you can see through it. It starts to play, it starts to
Mhm.
break away. You start to see things that you'll confirm with someone else next to you that they're like, no, I don't see that.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like what I was talking about yesterday about fasting, because fasting is just like you're removing everything,
Yeah.
you know, from your system, and like you know you're clearing your
Yeah.
windows, your eyes, you just see better. It's not like you know, something magical is happening. It's just that you are seeing what's in front of you now
Yes, and
because
it's
you're not
not
caught up
filtered
anymore.
by like your emotions or any kind of toxin that's like putting this veil in front of the truth, basically.
Exactly, exactly. So it's like, would you say like we are just blind because of we have so much information and so much in us that when we clear, that's
Yeah,
when we see the
but
truth
see, the
in
thing
front
is,
of us.
I
Or
wouldn't say we're blind. I would say that we're being masked. It's not our vision that's the issue. The layers upon layers upon layers that are over the vision. Like we can see fine if we move everything.
mhm. Yeah, yeah,
So
that's what
it's
I
like I
mean.
don't think there's anything
Yeah,
wrong with us. It's just we have to remove things.
it's
uh,
just too
well,
much, you know.
because
You
we're in
tend
this
to, yeah,
materialistic realm, and many of us are taught from the moment we get here, like to want more, and we need more, and we need all these things. One, that's where the future orientation's coming from. Like, oh, one day I'm gonna get that, and it's like, what? Where did we lose that happiness and that content with just being?
I know. Yeah, we have too
Yeah,
much expectations, everything, and that's, I
it
think that takes
absolutely
away the
does. Like
happiness and
I do
joy.
talk about that in my book, like expectations, because my partner Roy, he always talks about expectations being the blueprint of failure, and like everyone's heard that. It's a very common quote. But like when I diving like deeper into
Yeah.
that, it actually works with the laws of the universe. Like when we expect something, we are now resisting
Mhm.
all the infinite possibilities that could even be bigger and better than we could ever imagine. We're just pushing them away from us. And that's
Yeah,
expectation for like
because we think
suffering.
that one,
Anytime you have an expectation, you're causing yourself to suffer.
yeah, because if it won't happen just the way you expected, you know, you crush yourself, and it's just like, yeah, I don't like expectations. So whatever I do, I don't
Yes.
normally attach to any expectation. It is what it is, you know. Yeah, I really believe in divine timing, you know, and whatever that is aligned will be aligned. But if I everything I do, if I say like, okay, I'm expecting this to happen and I'm expecting that to happen, you know, I will disappoint myself, and disappointment is the worst thing I
Right.
know. I don't like to
And
disappoint myself.
also the
So
expectations, isn't that like
yeah,
you're living in the future? And we are in suffering anytime we
mhm,
are not present.
yeah, are, we are. But it makes sense though,
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
drifting away from now.
And it's
And it's like you're
only real
somewhere
things.
else,
So it does
you
make
know?
sense. The
And
more you move away from realness, the more it's going to freaking hurt. Right?
yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Hello there to you too. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's
I was
a
thinking
message.
about goals or jail
Goals or
cells.
jail.
I agree. I really do, because it's like now you're knocking away any, like, it's the same thing with the expectations. You're knocking away other possibilities. Like, people like will
Hmm.
ask me like, oh, how's
Absolutely.
your book doing? That's not up to me. I did what I wanted to do. I put my words out there. The rest is up to the universe. It's not up to me anymore. I met my
Mhm.
purpose for that part of my life, and now we're moving into another purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Let it flow. Just flow with what is. But expecting like, oh, I'm gonna write the best book and my book is gonna take over the
No.
world. Like, I don't even want that. I don't want that. That's so boring. It's like let the book
Yeah.
go and let it wander. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
reach the right people. Yeah, I think we are attached. Society have really programmed us to just be attached to the future. This is what you can do. This is what you can do, and then most of us are like trapped in the past too because of it. I think the reason why people are trapped in the past is like maybe
Yeah.
there is a moment that you really liked. Instead of creating that same moment, you want to go
Mm-hmm.
back and stay in that. But if you just know that you were responsible for
And you
that
can,
moment and you did create that
yes,
moment, then you know that you can create it again,
that's
right?
the thing. It's
So,
not a
yeah.
lot are aware that they are responsible.
Wow.
And
Yeah, we were
I
there
like
once too.
I told that on
I
my
was.
story today. Like, I had this download on the beach this morning that it's like you are able to assess another's level of responsibility by the way that they act. There's just certain things that you need to look for. Are they condemning? Are they making fun of? Like, this is how you know where their level of responsibility is, because if they have the awareness that they are responsible for everything that they are seeing, there wouldn't be no pointing outward. It would be all inward.
I know, I know. But we think everything outward. Like the doctor knows better than us. The
That is
government
not
knows what's best for us.
I
No,
yeah.
no, but like the majority. Yeah, we really think that.
Yeah.
Like if you think about everybody, that's how would you think like something outside of yourself knows
Because
what's best
we
for you?
grow up thinking we're
You know?
just silly little humans, and that we're not these expansive source creation, like infinite ability, and we just think we're silly little humans. Like, I believe that I was the silliest of the humans. Like, I didn't think I could do anything, affect any kind of change in my life. Like, that's part of the journey before you wake up.
Yeah. Or go to the silliest thing I've ever done is go to a school and program myself and pay
Same,
for the program.
girl. Same. I call schools program prisons, but I voluntarily paid to get programmed multiple times.
Measure my smartness. Use the money.
No more though. No more.
Wow. That was the silliest thing. One day I was just meditating, and when I was just in my meditation, I was like, oh my God, did I just pay for my programming? They really made me pay for the
Right.
programming that I don't want to be programmed. Wow. And then people go around and say, oh, I have this degree. I'm smarter than you. And when COVID happened, I knew who was smart and who wasn't smart.
Right.
Okay. You can have the 10
Yeah.
degrees. You hide you from Corona. I didn't know.
Right.
I was like, okay, how smart are you right now? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we've been
No, I
there. Trust
like,
me.
like
I
when,
paid the
when
program.
people refer to like, oh, they're really book smart or they do so well in school. I'm like, do you mean they're really good at being programmed? They're really good at
Hmm.
being controlled.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Even, when I went to school, if I think of my learning style, it was different. It's like I want to believe in the books. It was more like, hey, I just need to
Oh,
take this degree.
so you were
It will
already
open some
like,
doors,
you knew a
you know?
little bit. I wasn't. I was completely in it. I was in the Matrix 100%. When I was a nurse, I thought I was saving the world. I, now I know I
Giving
was
them
part of the
instructions.
problem.
Oh my God. No, I was in the Matrix too. Trust me, I was in the Matrix too. But it was more like I analyzed things, So I'm reading the book and it's not clicking. Let me make it my own way. And then sometimes I will be like, okay, this is just a little content. It doesn't have to stay. We just have to pass here. It doesn't have to stay. I will make it my own after I take the degree. But it just didn't make sense. A lot of things didn't make sense. But again, when I look at the other students, they will really copy
That was
paste. It was like,
that
it
was
was
one of
okay.
them.
And I'm like, you do that?
I'm not ashamed to say it. It was just part of the process. You don't know until
Wow.
you know.
Yeah. 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 But at least, as long as you can wake up from it and you don't think like all these books, now you're smart. Because that book. It's like you collect all this content and you just
Right.
eat them. It's like, I'm
And it's like,
smart
no,
now.
you absorbed everyone else's ideas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every book came
Yeah.
from a
But
mind.
then I have this like deeper view now that I'm coming into, and it's like, if we truly, truly create everything, then we are also creating these books. So
We are.
like, there's something that's going to be in these books that we're reading that's like meant as part of the process. Yeah. Yeah.
Of
I
course.
know.
That's why I read fantasy books. I don't read the ones that, you know, extracted things from the world, for example, or
Yeah.
like these academic books. I feel like those are more like programming, but I also think that's necessary. Just like for you to move around in this reality, it's good for you to,
We
at
have
least
to
get some little
expose
programming. I'm
ourselves.
not saying, hmm but don't
Right.
think like, that's what makes you smart. That's smart, because that's not making you smart. You're just like adjusting to this reality, trying to move through this reality. We shouldn't neglect this reality, really. A lot of people will be like, oh, this doesn't exist, and I'm going to just, no, you can't,
Oh yeah. Oh,
you
and
have
I
to work with
went
it,
through a
right?
little
You have
bit
to
of
know how
that
to,
myself. But until I met the
yeah, I know
realization
a
that
lot of
like, no, it's all part of it. Every single aspect of this experience is part of your ascension. And it might not feel like it at the time, but you go through it and you're like, shit, I got it now. That makes
experience, yeah. Yeah. I don't think if you were like up in the mountains sitting like this every day, you can just wait for some downloads to come. But when you're moving in
mhm.
society, when you're moving through life, you are receiving it quicker. But then you have to be aligned with yourself in order to not be attached or, drift away. So if you can bring yourself back to the present moment all the time,
Yeah,
you can collect everything
I
is a message.
agree with that statement.
Everything is a
I
message.
feel
Yeah. Everything is a message. So just to say like, oh, it doesn't exist, and no, everything is fun. I want to find out the universities. I want to find out the people that wrote those books. Whatever mindset that they had. These fantasy books. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, it came from a mind. It came from a mind out there. That mind may not even know what they put in there,
okay.
but it makes sense to me. Maybe it's a fantasy, but to me, it's like this is real.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
whatever we imagine is real. Everything. So everything that's in the book are
And
also
if
real.
we're all imagining different things, Nabia, do you think that everyone exists in their own reality?
If we do mainly exist in our own reality, because like
Yeah.
I'm projecting you projecting me, right? It's not like everybody have their own little view here and there.
Yeah.
It's just like we are just projecting each other, and it's just
Yeah,
our
and
reality. This is my
I
reality.
may have a very much different reality than you, but we're able to interact, and that's like the coolest thing.
Exactly. That's what I always say. It's my blue,
Oh,
your
that's
blue.
so funny.
It's my green, your green.
Yeah.
Maybe we agree on that. we agreed on something, but we would never know how you view your reality from, I would never know. I just know we agreed on some certain things that are similar. That's what I think is green, and you think that's
Yeah, it's
green too. But how
like
your green
our
looks like, I don't know.
consciousness can like overlap a bit, and that's where we see the likeness. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is a reflection, a reflection. So yeah, no, we are creating this reality. It's everything is
Yes.
just one. It really is just one. All religion says it's only one God. I used to think when I was a kid, if it's just one God, why is it several religions?
Because we came
Like every
here as like
religion says
individual
it's one.
perceptions of that. And we're all going to interpret things differently.
Hmm.
Though it seems like the masses have interpreted everything literally instead of symbolically.
Yeah, right, right.
God
What is
to
God to
me
you, Erika?
is consciousness.
Okay. What is
Consciousness
consciousness to you?
is like the knowing and the holding of awareness that there is like that everything is one, that there is no separation, that everything that comes across this separation is really just part of this illusion to keep us from ascending.
Yeah. I once had this meditation where, I believe God is consciousness too. I just
Yeah.
don't like to use the word God because I feel it's misused and it kind of like paints pictures in people's head. Once I use the word God, it just paints some kind of
Mm-hmm.
pictures in their head. I don't like to use the word, but I also see it as a consciousness, just
Yeah.
one big consciousness that we all kind of streaming from. So that's that one. And then if you imagine that one consciousness being like that big Wi-Fi, and then we are all different devices
Yes.
because we split ourselves into different devices, right? One is iPad, one is like phone, one is this, but we're streaming from the same. And depending on your, device, that's how much you can receive. If you're walking around with a radio, you may not, receive as an iPhone, right? Because of the connection. But it's just that one consciousness that we are all streaming from, and it's
No,
just
I
that
love
one to
that.
go
I love
back
that
to.
so much
You know?
because like I like how you use the different devices to maybe decide where we are on our levels of ascension, because use the think of a stove ring, how the fire comes out of each little individual hole. It's still one flame. It just looks like so many. And that's the analysis I use, that
Exactly.
we are one. We just look different
We are.
because
We are.
we haven't met that realization yet, or not all that realization.
Exactly. We just need to update our devices also sometimes. It's like you can be walking around with radio and it's like you don't have a see, you don't have a screen. So yeah, it is really different. But I think the mind is we come across is like separation, separation, separation. So if you attach to something that all the time slicing everything,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to put it back together. The mind really slices. It's like right now is you know.
Do meant to compartmentalize and separate and figure things out. Like it's not doing anything wrong. It's doing its job.
Yeah,
It's to move out of here and down into here, into our and
exactly.
say, let the mind go. We don't even need it.
Trust me, I've thought about that, and we do need them.
Oh, our minds. What I want to hear this because we do need our minds, but I want to see if it's the same reason. I want to hear your answer.
I'm just thinking, like I was saying, devices, right? So let's say that the mind is the screen.
Okay. I
Okay, so
mind as the cord
hmm,
keeping us into this realm.
that also, it could do that also.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I don't know. Yeah, the code would still be there. That maybe the problem with the mind is that you could, maybe it's the code, but when it comes to the mind itself, it puts the reality together for you like a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Without the mind, like let's say like someone with dementia, or someone like that just lost their mind, right? Then they lose the sense of reality. So no matter
Do they,
how,
or is it just buried underneath a lot of toxins?
I think it's just, that, like, someone when they get older and, the mind just like overload, just like any device.
Mm.
Any device cannot hold the capacity for so long, so it can crash. So if our mind is that keeps the reality together for us somehow. When you lose the mind, even if your heart is still beating, you're still there, you still exist, the screen is broken. So it's
Mm.
like you're connected to the Wi-Fi, but the screen is broken, so you can't see, you know, um,
I think the mind that keeps the matrix together, not
no, the Matrix is kind of reality, right? Isn't it?
not for me. It's unreality.
Okay, tell me the differences between the reality and the Matrix.
Reality happens when we know exactly who we are and what we're doing, and that
Hmm.
mastered this realm. That is reality to me.
Okay. And Matrix is.
Unreality. It's the Maya. It's the illusion. It's everything that's meant to keep us to both keep us and project us into our ascension at the exact same time, because like this entire realm is a paradox. It's like complete opposites that have to happen and coexist together to get to.
Hmm. So your Matrix is my reality then. That's
What's
how I
that?
see reality.
I cut out.
No, I said the way you see Matrix, that's
Oh,
how I see the reality.
oh, reality.
Yeah. Because to me, reality itself is just like it's a projection of whatever we accumulated.
Okay.
So whatever we take in is through the Matrix
Mm-hmm.
somehow, and then we project that out and create it into a reality. So it's like, the Matrix is kind of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it is our mind. It's not something outside of yourself. It's not a prison outside of yourself. It's a prison inside the
Yeah.
mind, right? So then we're projecting things
Mm-hmm.
through the Matrix. So that's how I see the reality is a projection from the Matrix mind.
Okay.
That's how I see
Yeah.
it. But then, the more I extract, the more I release myself from the Matrix, meaning my mind, the more I can see the reality in a different perspective. That
Okay.
that's not
Yeah.
prison, and that's not like now I can see like the magical part of reality where I'm not trapped in that Matrix. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you move. That's what I'm saying. You're moving through the Matrix. You're still in the Matrix, but you just get out of the bars, and now you have to move through it because you're still in that present prison, but then you have to move through the prison like you're not trapped.
But yeah.
So it's like the mind is the Matrix.
Yeah, I can see it that way. I can see what you're saying. And like little when you said you let go of things and you're able to see it in reality in a different perception, I guess that would be my reality. Like once all the illusions are taken away, that's reality.
Yes, that's what I mean. Okay. Okay.
But we kind of we're just using different words because that's part of this too.
Yeah. So then, yeah, the more we let go of the Matrix, the more we will see the different reality somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which and like way that we just both kind of described kind of the same thing is why there's so many religions.
I know. That's why I had to describe it more because I know we had the same understanding, but then it's just different angles, right? Yeah.
Definitely.
Now I find the Matrix, like let's say like the Matrix is just like kind of like a trap that you woke up in. You woke
Okay.
trap. And you're like, oh my God, now I'm trapped here. But you're awake in the trap. So you can move through, so you don't get trapped here, trapped there. You can see all the traps. You can see every rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't see it, you just you end up in every rabbit hole, and then you believe that's your reality, and then it takes you time to get out of it, and then you go in another rabbit hole, and then but when you know that everything is kind of like an illusion somehow,
Yeah.
you will know how to move through the illusion. If you want to go and party in that rabbit hole, you go there, so you know how to get out, and you go to this rabbit hole, you know how to get out. You're not a victim of reality
Yes,
somehow.
I agree so much. That resonates so deeply because like that's a lot of things that's coming to me lately. It's like we only learn things to unlearn them. We only hold on to things to eventually let them go. We only attach to things to eventually detach from them. So it's like, it's all part of the.
It is. It is part of it. All of it. All of it. That's why you can't separate good from bad or, negative from positive. It's like they both have their purpose. They both
Yes.
have their purpose. So when you come in that acceptance of like, it is what it is, you know, it is what it is.
Like assigning the good and bad. Why is it bad? Or like we are assigning labels.
Mm-hmm.
It.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. We are magical beings. We create our own little traps. It's so funny. Even when we say that the matrix, somebody else, we still think it's outside of ourselves, but we are the only one.
Yeah, I am solely responsible for everything that happens in my life. It is just me. That was a really tough realization I've made recently. I've been blaming my marriage ending on my ex for 8 years. I was like, oh, it was me the whole time.
Yeah, it was you, Erika. It was you.
But it's like devastating at first, and then it's liberating because it's like, wow. Because if it's that, it's everything else. It's everything that I'm responsible for, and it's like that's a lot of honesty, and that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. But it feels good to be honest with yourself.
Oh, I am very honest with myself because I'll tell you how I move through this matrix. Any single time that I approach something that makes me feel uncomfortable way,
Mm-hmm.
I deep dive into my life and figure out where did that ever happen before? When did I experience this before? How did I handle it? What would I like to see differently? And it takes it completely away. It's like these things, these experiences, these lessons, these blessings that show up for us, they are literally just coming to liberate. That's all they're here. And if we just lean into them instead of running away, I was really good at that for a very long time. it, oh, it doesn't hurt as bad as I thought it was. It's not going to end me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally creating all this strength inside and all this experience that I might not ever have to face that again. And that's it. Once you learn the lesson, it goes away. It keeps showing up. Look at it in a different angle. Maybe you're like missing something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're not taught how to address, how to analyze our feelings.
I know. We're taught to tuck away and not feel them.
Yeah. And I was talking about on my video yesterday where I was saying that the first moment when we start crying as a babies, we were given a bottle.
No.
To shut the mouth. This is where you express yourself with, right?
No.
So if you got a bottle every time you wanted to, maybe have you had babies, so have you ever thought about like every time they cry, people just think they're hungry or tired,
Right.
you know? You never think of like maybe this baby is trying to express something
Or
else.
they're bored or they need to go outside or
Do something else. But since we're so programmed to think that they need to eat, right? Then we shut them with the bottle, and then that becomes the addiction of like, okay, every time I feel some type of way, somebody put some bottle in my mouth. Now I have to eat something.
or
We're conditioned that way.
feel better.
Mm-hmm. Instead of, so we were taught to not analyze our feelings from we were babies.
Mm-hmm.
From we were babies, if our mother could just analyze and think like, okay, is this baby too hot? Is this baby maybe too cold? Like, what's going on? Do you have stomach ache? What do you have? Analyze all of that before you give the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we would have like, we wouldn't know how to kind of like analyze our feelings before we judge them,
Yeah.
before we eat something, like you said, you went back.
Yeah.
Into, oh, where did that come from? And that's
Mm-hmm.
the only time you realize, oh my God, it was just me,
The whole time.
Yeah. The whole time. I did that too. I had to go back. I'm like, oh my God, I made all of these choices.
Yeah.
All of these choices. And it's
I thought this about myself, so of course that showed up.
mm-hmm.
Only searching for things to make truth.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna meet those truths. That's why I say it's so important, like what your beliefs are and how you feel yourself. Your entire changes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about diving inwards, digging in,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's out there.
Right. But we always search on the outside, even if you have a boyfriend or whatever, like the boyfriend had to love you. You had to love the boyfriend. It's not like you know, love yourself. You know, learn how to love yourself first. But we are taught to think everything outside of ourselves because we hold back so much. And then all we want is just love. You know, have you ever thought about everybody, even the, you know, the most criminal person, all they want is just a hug and love and someone to see
Yeah,
them.
absolutely.
That's
And to just feel accepted.
hmm and
That's all.
yeah, yeah. I hear a lot of people in the spiritual journey who says like, oh, they like to be by themselves and you know, like you know, practice being on your own and this. But I really think it's very important to have like healthy relationships. Everything in life is based on relationships.
They
Everything.
are most vivid mirrors because they're like the closest relationships to. We kind of let our guard down, and
Mm.
a little bit of truth sinks
Yeah,
out, seeps out.
yeah,
Give it right back, super loud and super clear. But we're like busy pointing fingers, like, why are you being like this? Oh no, he's just showing me,
yeah.
showing
No, it's important.
parts of me that I don't want to look at yet.
Mhm. Right? But you're mirroring yourself every time you see someone, every time you meet somebody, every time you
Yeah.
greet somebody. You're mirroring yourself. So to feel like I want to be by myself only and I don't want to have any relationship with people, that's again like neglecting yourself.
Well,
You're
it's a limited awareness. They just don't know yet.
yeah,
And
it is a limited awareness.
it is a very it's part of the spirit, like this ascension journey, because it's super common to
Mm-hmm.
do
Mm-hmm.
be alone. I mean, I've experienced it. I have so many clients that have experienced it. Like there's this part of me where I gotta go. I can't be around people, but it's a lack of consciousness. You just haven't met that level of consciousness yet. Like, oh, they're all me.
Mm-hmm. 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 You're just running away from you.
What's that?
You're just running away from you when you run it. Really,
Uh,
you
yes. I resonate with that deeply.
right, really,
Needing it.
mm-hmm. It's just running away from yourself. No, I don't know. You know, I love to be by myself.
As do I.
But I really love to be by myself. But then I also know I cannot separate myself from everything.
Right.
I cannot separate myself from everything. So I know when to be alone, you know, that's the time I'm reflecting and just observing, you know. And then I know when to blend in because that's how I find myself. I don't find myself in being by myself only. I find myself through others.
Right, because they're all showing you different versions.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a different angle to that.
Explaining that the other day, and it's like we really don't need to control anything.
No.
Flow, and as you meet the lessons and the blessings, like the universe takes care of itself. Okay, it doesn't need any help. Right?
Yeah.
Go with the flow and like meet everyone that we're supposed to be meeting. Like the trash will get taken out itself in the nicest way possible. Like you don't have to try to avoid anything or push anyone away. Like
No.
it hasn't been met yet if there's life.
No.
And like and you like, oh, I can't be around that person, or I don't like those people. I'd rather away from those people. So there's something in you that you haven't acknowledged yet.
Exactly.
And mirrored in those people, and you just can't take it yet.
Yeah.
But if you just self be in that energy, you'll will learn the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
But if we it's going to come and it's going to look different, but it's going to feel the same.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I question myself when I see things in other people. I always question me. I'm the one observing it. I'm the one
Yep.
seeing it. You know.
Like
So there's no way. Yeah.
me right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Why am I angry? This person's angry. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. That's so funny that you do too.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't see what you don't have from within.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
see a guy, a homeless person on the street doing something, you acknowledge that. I really like to go towards them, you know, and if I have acknowledged, because there's so many homeless people everywhere.
Yeah.
But if the person add for me, I would have to go and interact with that person. And
Yeah.
because there's something there, that caught my attention. So it's something within me that caught that attention. So for me to just go there and then talk to the person,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I say be what we are
Mm-hmm.
has to be in here somewhere for us to even see it.
Exactly. You're displaying it.
Mm-hmm.
You're displaying it. So it's coming from you, streaming from you, because someone else on that street do not see what I see.
Yes.
They see in a different angle. I see here. So this is me streaming this.
Mm-hmm.
So it is me.
Yes.
It is my show.
Yes, and this is my
Mm-hmm.
show.
To separate and say like, oh, I want to stay away from people. I want to stay away from this. I want to stay away from, society. I want to stay away from that. I'm not saying go not finding your peace. Go find your peace somewhere else, whatever you like to find your peace.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you can't find peace in the city. You can't find peace in somewhere else. You can. Then that way, that means just
So it's going to be wherever you are.
Exactly.
Once you tap in.
Exactly. The peace will just follow you wherever you are. Yes.
Exactly.
Then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I wish everybody understood that. So we can.
I know. Why most people want to go be by themselves because they share that similar thought. And then it's like, we can't make the skin peel off the snake, right?
Yeah.
So we can't determine the rate at which everyone wakes up at.
Oh no. Everybody wakes up at different times.
Yeah.
So, it's all about, and again, the path is within. How you clear your path, what reveals to you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're clearing your path and I'm not, I can't expect the same things to reveal to me.
Right.
I haven't done this job, I haven't worked on it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, oh, Erika, you can see that. Why can I not see? That's because I have a block here. I have to tear it down and say, maybe come over to the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I will start on, breaking my wall whenever it's time for me.
Yeah.
But it's important that someone else have done it. Someone else can see it. And I can have that question like, Erika, how do you see that? We're standing on the same side. And you see something else and I don't see it. I will get curious, right? What did you do? And you can tell me like, oh, I cleared my path. I can do something, right?
Right.
So that's,
yeah. We all have the same potential. Like nobody's more gifted than anyone else. Like we're all on the same journey, going to the same place. It just looks like a lot different because there's so many individualized.
Yeah. The mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the same, Even I used to think like when in religion, when they say, oh, going to heaven or paradise, right?
Mm.
I used to say, but your paradise and my paradise may not be the same. What would your paradise? Because I used to remember like they thinking, some describe the paradise as, eating this and eating that, and you can do, because so that's what they think is paradise.
Right.
To me, like food dropping from the sky is a nightmare.
Right.
I'm like, that's not my paradise,
right.
So then I realized paradise is just in the mind.
Yeah.
In everybody's mind.
Yeah. Once we like access that in the mind, we can project it right here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's not a place you go to.
Right.
It's a mindset.
Yeah.
It's a state of mind.
Yeah. And hell too.
It's a state of mind. But we all live there.
It's right here.
Wow. If we only knew that hell and heaven is a state of mind, happiness is a state of mind, we wouldn't have to like try to go to places to find those things. You would just know like here is where the mindset is created. Wow. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything, Erika. We just have to be like
be and breathe.
Be and breathe. Yes. Learn how to be. Yeah. I think that's the challenge.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Mm-hmm.
and knowing you're in charge of everything. You're in charge of this reality. You're in charge of your moment, how you create it. If I choose to go to the park right now and do some crazy things, or if I go to a cafe and sit there and start writing, or I'm creating it.
Yes.
And that determines my day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then how does one get there to just be?
To just be. I think I like to say that I was just so sick of myself not knowing what was happening.
It's such a motivating factor. Just anymore. I'm done.
Yeah, I was so tired of not knowing what this is.
Yeah. A truth seeker. That's what you are.
Yeah, it's just everything was just happening, like trusting this and trusting that, and knowing, like thinking that anybody else knows everything better than you, or this and that. I was just like, but all of this, am I doing all of this just to get out of here? So what is going on? I don't even know myself.
Here.
Huh?
Like, what's the real reason we're here? Because it's not that.
No, it's not that, because that's boring.
Yeah.
I'm not even doing me. I'm doing whatever that's expected of me, right? And I'm living, just existing. I wasn't living. I was just existing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fitting in society. Even my eating habits, I wanted to fit in society. Everything was just a work.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was the work. When I was in college, I had to fit in. Everything is like fitting in. But I'm like, who am I?
Yeah.
Before I fit in these boxes, who am I, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with myself and just, yeah.
Yeah.
It just came to me. It's like, oh my God, it's just here. It's just here. So many times I said to myself, oh my God, it's just here. Right. Because everything else is just illusion. It is. Yeah. And that's when I get to know myself and my true self, just by sitting in moments and separating myself from all the acts, everything else that I do. I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a this, I'm that. All of that, when I'm no longer a sister and I have to do that as a sister, I'm a mother, I have to do that as a mother. When I separate all of that, I'm like, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? Because that's always there, the one that's responsible for these kids, the one that's responsible for this. Like, who is that? Who's getting tired, not knowing who she is or what it is, So sitting down with myself, I'm like, okay, those are my roles.
Yes.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. that was it. This is me, that's the role.
Yeah. What my partner say, like when he goes to work, he's like, I'm gonna go play the role.
Yeah, absolutely. Play the role. And take the hat off.
Yeah.
Learn how to take it off. So it was very, very challenging, but the more I got to know myself, the more I was like, oh my God, this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I knew everything else, but I just didn't know, like my favorite color. I didn't even know that.
Right.
I used to just guess, like, oh, I think it's green because I like nature. And I used to just say, oh, I like green.
Mm-hmm.
And people would ask, no, you like green? Why? And I used to think like, yeah, because I like nature. I like the trees. But then I'm like, but I like that flower too, and it's not green, But then I realized, oh my God, my favorite color is orange. And it took me meditation after meditation when I realized that's what I use for this. That's what I used to do when I was a kid. Like every time I came home with a paper or something from school, it was orange. And it had green too, but it was orange. I'm like, I got the memory back all the way when I was in elementary and how I used to play with orange stuff on me.
Oh,
and that's what I realized. Yeah, I'm like, okay, orange is mine. Now I know.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's a little digging. It's a little digging.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for having this conversation. I always like when I see you on live, I'm like, I'm gonna have a conversation with Erika. I know.
I haven't in a minute. I've been doing some inner work lately.
That's good. Sometimes we need that,
Yeah, I had to take a step back a bit.
That's needed, especially this time of the year. I feel like it's very needed.
Mm-hmm.
The nature is doing it. The nature is really doing it. The trees are like, okay, take my clothes off. I'm taking a break. you know, for a while, you know, everything is taking a break, everything is letting go of the old things, you know. So I think for us too, we are just nature. We need to let go of the.
Of course we are. And nature is just always showing us the way too, if we just tune in.
Exactly. Tune in with ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and then you blend in with it. Really, you will just blend in with it.
Right.
Hmm.
Because like
You will let go.
that's what our bodies are. Our bodies, our physical bodies are part of this matrix.
It is.
So, and it's all one. So the more, I feel like the more we connect with ourselves, the more we connect with nature, vice versa. The more we connect with nature, the more easily it is for us to connect with ourselves.
Hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
a relationship.
Hmm. Hmm. It is. It is. Because we are nature. We are not separated from it.
Right.
So we separated ourselves from it somehow, you know. And it's like the more you go back to it, the more you connect with nature, the more you will feel from the heart and not from the mind. You
Yeah.
know, we judge everything from our mind right now, but the more you sink in with nature, it's just like you would have a deeper sense of things, you know. So you will sense it with your heart.
Yes. Then you get a deeper responsibility as well because you begin to accept ownership. Like, yes, this is me too.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love it. I love even when I see an angry person, I'm like, oh my God, that's me. You know, I see somebody who's like, oh my God, that's me. You know, all of it is me. It's me. There's nobody that I would ever look down on, somebody that I would never look up on. There's
Right.
no, not there.
Oh,
It's the same. I find it like same problem when you take someone higher than yourself or when you take someone lower than yourself. I think it's the same problem.
mm-hmm.
You're either of them. You know, you're not higher than anyone, and you're not so no one is lower than you. You know, so just to know that that is me. If you feel like that person is low, so are you, because you are. That's
Yes.
not the person. It's you because you having that interpretation of someone or like judgment of someone. That is because of you are in that low frequency.
Yeah, I resonate with that. So, with that said, do you think that we can ever see things as they are, see people as they are, or is it always as we are because we are creating the reality?
When you say as they are, then you have separated already. They
Yeah,
is right. So, however, I feel like however you react, however you come towards me, every time I observe you, that is my reality.
yeah.
When you're outside of my sight, you might not my reality.
I love you so much.
It's just right now in that moment where we are interacting with each other, whatever that is in that moment, that is your reality. So it's just part of yourself that's coming out. You know how you cannot have like that interaction with someone if nothing goes in, you just don't get it. It's just it's just not there. Maybe it was just a glitch. You just didn't get it. You did
Right?
right, but it's
Yeah,
always just you. It's always just
I
you.
agree. I want to, because we share a lot of the same, and these are like questions that I have met on my path,
Mhm.
and I like to ask other people the same question.
Yeah.
Other people. I like
Yeah. I didn't hear that last part. You cut off.
I ask myself the same question.
Mhm. No, that's why I say like it's very important to have relationship. Really, like even if you have the thought, even if you have the idea, even if it's like in you all the time, you just want to see the reflection bounce back or it to think. Like okay, I see it. So we do need these conversations where we can validate each other. Really, for
Or teaching or liberating.
Mhm.
Really,
Yeah, really, it is. No, everything oof, is a reflection. Trust me. We split everything, like I said.
every
We have the mind is a sharp knife. Who said it? I think it was Sadhguru who said it. The mind is like a sharp knife. He said you can cut ties or you can cut yourself. You have to be careful because if you have a sharp knife, you can really cut yourself up.
yes.
You don't know what you're doing, right? And that's what the mind is doing. The mind would just cut everything in pieces for us when we don't know what we are doing. But
Mm-hmm.
when you know what you're doing, you will know how to use this sharp knife to cut the illusion.
Right.
You were talking about you can cut that illusion.
Yes.
Know that you are holding a sharp knife. You know, it's like it's very important because it's so. It just imagine if you were like blindfolded and you have this knife,
Super sharp knife.
and everybody you love is around you. You know, you don't know who you're cutting. Like it's that's the reality. That's our mind. Really, our mind is splitting everything in just parts all the time.
Which that's why I talk about so much about like self mastery, because once you master your mind, it works for you.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, I
It's
love.
like, all right, now the blindfold's off, but I still have the knife with it now.
Exactly, and now you can use it wisely.
Yeah,
You know to pull out. Yeah,
like cut out skins.
exactly, exactly. Because you know how to use it.
Yeah,
You know how to
yeah.
use it. Wow. Yeah. That's life is simple as that, Erika. But
If
complicated.
only
Wow. I'm actually sometimes I look forward to when this life ends for me, I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna be next, Like this journey, I'm talking about death. When I say death, people see it as, like, yeah, sad thing or this thing. It's just, the end of a story because of your vehicle maybe expire or whatnot. Yeah.
you're not dying, you're immortal.
Yeah, but I'm saying the body expiring. You have a tool to use here
Yes.
to explore this game. So
Right.
when your vehicle is not there anymore because of it's expired or whatever, then the next move. You move to the next. Of course, we're infinite.
Right.
But I'm just thinking like when we no longer have the same vehicle, the next story, the next stage, I look forward to because I don't know if I would memorize this. Like, how did I do in this game? Something like that.
Are you looking into the future now? That's not you staying present.
I'm not looking into the future. I'm thinking of when the story ends, like when the movie ends.
I think when the movie ends, you can choose to come back and do it
Yeah,
over again.
I think I did come back multiple times. Yeah, yeah, just to learn how to use that knife.
Yeah, I've never been here before.
You haven't?
No,
I
in other dimensions. I just never been to Earth.
Lucky you. I have been here and played here.
So much, I think.
If you haven't been here before, I definitely been here before.
Yeah, I have not.
But I also know that right before here, I was in different dimensions, different.
Oh, yes, and that's me. Like I've seen them. I've done like past life like regressions and like meditations. I've seen the different dimensions I've been in.
Yeah, I do that too. Definitely. When I was a little kid, like around 2, 3, I was so convinced that I was from a different world that I just appeared here.
Wow.
Yeah, they used to think like hmm?
Remembered before the programming's like sunk all the way in.
Yeah, I think so. But really, I used to have. I even remember it when I used to think about it. Like I just appeared here. The sun got dark, and I'm here. That's what I used to say. Like the sun just got black, the sky got black, and I would just appear on this world, and everything's dense. I felt like everything became dense. It wasn't dense for me before.
Wow.
So that was very interesting thing. I used to always just walk around and say, yeah, it's just I came from. And for me, it was. I used to tell it like I came from a different city, like it was here somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, I would tell them like, yeah, we didn't used to cook like this. We didn't used to do this. Everything was so different. It was more like the mind, and then it creates. The mind, it creates. It wasn't like dense.
Okay.
So everything used to just appear,
Yeah.
And
It
that
was
was,
a higher level of consciousness.
yeah, I don't know what it was, but I was so convinced that I just appeared here. It got dark. I'm here.
Like you were pulled from somewhere and then you were here.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah, I used to always say that. I think I continued talking like that until I was maybe 6, 7. All the
We're like,
time.
I'm holding on to this.
Yeah. No, I used to say like, where is that world? You don't know what I'm talking about? And I would tell people like about the world, and they look at me like, what are you talking about? I'm like, when are we going back? When is the sun gonna get dark again? When is this all? And then up here on my, where the water falls, and everything was so beautiful there.
Mm-hmm.
I still have little memories, but yeah, I used to ask adults like, when are we going back?
Wow.
The only thing that reminds me that that world is when I saw the Avatar the first time.
That's wild.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, that's the same world. That's the same world that I used to be in when I was a little kid. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like the Avatar.
Yeah.
Reason, yeah. And people, I didn't have this body either. I was like transparent.
Oh.
It's weird, but everybody was just like a transparent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that sounds like a higher dimension.
Yeah, I guess so. Whatever people call a higher dimension. My father used to say, "Oh, that's the prophet you're talking to."
Oh.
That's they related with the religions and everything. You went to paradise and back. That's what they used to say. But yeah, that was the world, and it still stuck with me.
Yeah.
That it exists. Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Kids have their mind is not hardened.
Oh, or
Yeah.
aware.
We call it childish. We call it kids' mind. We call it like immature, but it's actually mature.
Yes. And so imaginative.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually imagination. Like that means like that's when we are real, when we are kids.
Yes.
That's
And
when we are smartest. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, we can go back to when we were kids again. Our mind was more like
what this whole journey is about, right? Returning to our
yeah. Yeah. You know how when people get older, like let's say like past 80, they automatically go back to baby. They stop walking, they start wearing diaper again. They do childish stuff. The mind really just resets itself. Original.
Yeah.
Now we have just a bigger body and
the reincarnation. Do you think that's why? To like prepare to re-enter?
to reset. I'm thinking maybe yeah,
Or
it could be.
like still, if we create everything, this is where I get old. This is my rabbit holes. Like I always come back to, well, if I'm creating everything, then like is the aging process still part of like I still have that belief in aging?
The aging process is what?
Happening. That's still a part of me that believes in aging.
I think the aging thing is so tricky that we can really stop it because we are
I'm not going to change this face. I'm done.
yeah, you can stop it, but it's the mind that's attached to that. Every time you add a year, you get older,
right?
But there is no year.
Right.
It's just now, right? It's just now. So you're not adding on to a days or anything. It's just now. But your mind will add up for you, and then your appearance will change because of your mind is adding up for you. Because now you attach the mindset of every day, with the mindset of that you get older. You are responsible for this. You have to do this. So that makes your body tired. Because if you have a car, the longer you have the car, it's not going to stay as new as it was, because you're driving it. But if you just in the garage, it can stay new.
Yes.
The days can pass. It can be from 1970 something. The days can pass. The car will still be new because you're not driving it. So if you learn how to drive the car like very, carefully, and you maintain it, it doesn't matter what day that passed. That car will stay that way.
Right. So you're saying aging not because they're using their bodies?
we're using the body, we're using the mind, that gives us the wrinkles, that gives us, whatever. Because the older you get, the more responsibility you get. And that's why our body becomes the way it is somehow, because we're using the body. But I think if you maintain it, if you learn how to do it, and you know your mind, you don't override your mind too much,
Mm-hmm.
then you can stay in that mindset. I can stay in the mindset of a child if I want to, you
Yeah.
know? Really. Once we go into the mindset of adults, and now like all these worries, and just like you making that frown, like, oh my God, so this, all of that would just like accumulate, and that would age you.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we age. But we don't age. That's my neighbor. I told her to wait, but yeah. Yeah, she wanted me to call some insurance companies. Oh my goodness. Okay, I will have to end this call, but it was so lovely talking to you. You hear the door?
Yeah.
Okay, it was lovely talking to you. I love you.
Beautiful. Bye-bye.